Hey, what up? This is Zach Guilford from Midnight Mass, and you're listening to one of my favorite podcasts, Pop Culture Pastor.
Pop Culture Pastor. Dave, it was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
We're just hitting the Dickens hard today.
Yes. This week, sad news and good news abounds.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how it is.
It is.
There's a quote in the movie we're reviewing that explains that perfectly. Muppet Christmas Carol, but we'll get to that later.
We will. Do you want to hear the bad news?
Yeah, give me the bad news first.
Okay. So bad news. What We Do in the Shadows is coming to an end.
I saw that. There might be a chance for me to catch up yet.
Yes.
Or start watching it in my case.
There is
Me too.
One more season, so fear not. 6 seasons in a movie. It's still a thing. Although they already did a movie before, so YOLO. But good news, there is an adult Happy Meal now.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm excited. I ordered it.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you for just a second because Jackson's microphone is bothering me as it's pointing at his nose.
It is.
That's part of it. Yeah, just get that thing out of the way so you can see it. There you go.
Good?
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
much better. Yeah, the McDonald's adult Happy Meal thing, which, by the way, doesn't have an adult size portion in it.
Well, it's a 10-piece with the fries. It's a value meal essentially, but with a toy.
Yeah, that's not enough.
Yeah. I'm a 20-piece nugget man.
Yes. I ate a 20-piece nugget last week because I knocked my front tooth out. I didn't want to bite into anything.
Don't do that.
So I can fit a whole nugget inside my mouth. And yeah, it was a false tooth. I had I got knocked out playing basketball years ago. Then I was eating a Rice Krispie treat that a lady brought me at church.
Don't
She bit
eat.
into it. The
She
tooth
put way
stayed
too much
there.
marshmallow in those Rice Krispie treats. They were super sticky. I'm just kidding. She's a lovely person. And I like the Rice Krispie treats. But I took a bite and my tooth was gone and it was still in the Rice Krispie treat.
Well, at least you found it.
Yeah, it was good because they could just put it right back in. Took a few days, though. I spent the weekend without a front tooth. It was hard to talk. It was touch and go for a while. I was like, how am I going to record a pod without a front tooth?
The gopher from Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Anyways,
But I did get Uptown Mo in my adult Happy Meal.
what's Uptown Mo?
He's a McNugget that is like all about the city.
It's very good. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Adult Happy Meals. Wonderful. I'm excited not only that those are available, but that Cody has already partook.
Yes.
How many more for the whole collection?
I think there's 5.
Was that the good news? That was the good news? Oh, man.
Cody's a man of simple tastes.
I am. Unless you want me to be a man of elitist taste, and then we can go elite. You just tell me
Okay.
how you want me to be.
Well, maybe we'll save elitist Cody for another day. He sounds
Okay.
interesting, but I'm not. I don't know if I'm ready for that. I need to prepare myself for that.
Okay, so man of the people, Cody.
Man of the people, Cody. It is. Hey, we got a couple things we should hit before we get into our main subject.
Like the name of the podcast.
Oh yeah. This is Pop Culture Pastor. We're a podcast, and my name is Dave. Cody's here,
I am.
and we also have with us Jackson, Geek of the Round Table, Sir Jackson.
Hey.
Jackson is our resident Disney, wrestling, goofy movie, Kurt Russell geek.
There we go.
Is there anything I missed there? You've got a lot of specialties.
I'm a coat of many colors over here.
He's
you go.
literally wearing a Legends of the Hidden Temple shirt.
Wow.
Purple parrots represent.
Also a deep cut. Also a deep cut. All right. So the big news from the last couple days is Jonathan Majors was found. What was that look?
It was, are we going to talk about this? Nah, I don't think so.
I can't tell the future.
I felt like, I don't know, you don't want to talk about it, but it's big enough news in the geek world where we got to kind of have to talk about it. I'll paraphrase what happened because, like, I could tell you the exact charges he got found guilty on and the ones he got found not guilty. But essentially what the court decided, or a jury of his peers, was that he's not guilty of intentionally doing harm, but guilty of being negligent and causing harm. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So it was bad and good in a sense that, like, someone tells you, well, we understand maybe you didn't intentionally mean to hurt someone, but your actions were wild and out of control enough that you did. So
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
I'm not sure that that's a win or a loss for him. What is a loss is Marvel didn't even wait all of like an hour and a half to fire him.
Ink wasn't even dry.
No.
It's annoying to me.
Why is that annoying? I'm curious. I don't disagree. I just want you to spell that out a little
Okay, so we've had this like out in the open forever and a day. There's been even leaked video of said incident. Like, if you as a big brand were okay with going to trial over this, stick with them. If you didn't like the fact that he put himself in a reckless environment to begin with, let him go. You literally fired James Gunn for tweets he made years ago, and you brought him back. You could have done this if he was found innocent. Like, wash your hands early and move on. Like, it's with the New York Jets and thinking, oh, Aaron Rodgers is going to come back. He didn't come back. You wasted a season. Now you've wasted several months where you could have already had the replacement King. You could have had replacement stories. We've been in limbo.
Yeah. I think I'm with you on that. That last little part there, I think that's my problem with the whole situation, is that what Marvel is proving is that they had no plan. They were just kind of waiting around. Why? Like, you're Disney. You have tons of money. Make a plan and go with it. You've been like shuffling your feet this whole time when you knew you were probably going to fire him. I mean, like, look, that wasn't a shock. In fact, that was probably that's the second best scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, best scenario is he's innocent of all charges, but did anyone really think that was going to happen given what we have seen?
I didn't.
Yeah.
Did you ever get verification? I think it was you that told me of the contract terms where no one else could play Kang.
That was the rumor, but of course most contracts do have something about, like, if you have criminal activity or you bring unwarranted attention that's negative towards the brand, we can fire you.
Yeah, I never put much stock in that because big corporations like that, if that was a clause, there most certainly was a clause about
an out, like, somewhere.
Yeah, if you get found guilty of something in a court of law, that contract is definitely cancelable.
Yeah.
So, and for Marvel's credit, it although there's a lot of speculation out there, and I don't know that Marvel has really said anything, but the heavy speculation seems to be that they're going to recast Kang, but really pare down that story and lean more into Doctor Doom in Secret Wars. In fact, so much so that already on IMDb, Avengers 5, which up to now had been the Kang dynasty, now just is back to Avengers 5. So they may be leaning so far away from it that they're going to recast Kang for a quick ride out.
That's lame.
I think so too. I'm interested enough in the character of Kang. Of course, I'm a comic book geek, and that's no secret. But
might as well just get rid of the Fantastic Four while we're at it.
Like, look, I didn't have a problem with you recasting James Rhodes. Like,
oh yeah,
who cares?
Or the Hulk.
Like, I like Jonathan Majors. I think he was great. I think he's a great actor. But I'll live. Give me someone else. Heck, they can even give me a different interpretation. It's Kang. He's literally
just put a line of dialogue. Hey, remember Kang? And then,
like, he literally could have tons of variants. What would be one thing I heard that I thought would be really cool? It's not my idea. I wish I could give credit because I don't remember who said it where I read it now. But someone said, why not just cast Denzel Washington as an older version of the one that got lost at the end of Quantumania? Bring him back after him having spent however much time wherever, and make Denzel Washington the guy. And I'm like, yeah, do that.
Then you can have John David Washington be young Kang in various forms.
He could be Iron Lad. Fantastic. All for it.
you're welcome, Marvel.
Yep.
Anyways,
Solved that one.
So that's what's going on with them. And Marvel, I think they're officially in their lowest point now, right now. Their reaction to this, like people's reaction to their reaction, has not been favorable, and kind of just shows that they just didn't have any sort of plan, and they were just kind of waiting. And that's what kind of they've been doing. The problem with these last phase or whatever is I think they had a plan, and then it got wrecked, and then they just waited around, but continued to put out content that was pointless. And people reacted to it as such.
It's like the new Aquaman movie.
Right. Exactly.
It's there.
Like, why are you putting that out?
You don't have to watch it because
You don't have to make a Captain Marvel movie.
Yeah.
You can delay it. You can scrap it before you make the whole thing and then make it again and make it again.
Well, were they at a point where it was basically we can put anything out and it'll gross $1 billion?
Well, that's probably, I think that's what everyone assumes is they just got full of themselves. They just thought, well, everybody's going to go see everything we put out.
Whatever it is.
Because, there's, that book that recently came out by, Joanna something, the Marvel, behind the scenes Marvel book. I mean, it was clear in the book that she said that the sources inside Marvel Studios said that they were shocked that Quantumania was received poorly. To which I would say, did you watch it? How could you be shocked that movie was not up to par? Everything about that movie, the farther we get away from it, I get less kind to it too, because it's not even a good Ant-Man movie.
it has good scenes and moments. I don't think that it's a complete movie.
Yeah, but because you put Kang in it, and you make that the vehicle, and the Ant-Man, you make Ant-Man the hero of this movie. You're introducing your main villain. It ceases to be an Ant-Man movie. It's too serious. It's too, you know what I'm saying? Like the great thing about the Ant-Man movies were they were kind of in their own little space. That's what the great thing about all the. Oh, I almost knocked my cup over. The great thing about all the Marvel movies is they all had their own space with their own kind of genre, and then it just kind of got lost.
Thanks a lot, Taika. That's what some people will say.
Look, Thor: Love and Thunder is a lot of things, but you can't blame it for not taking up its own space. It was just a weird space. That's all. I mean, he made his own movie. He made his movie.
He did.
So I won't fault him for that. It's just too Taika.
Yeah.
There's
Way
no
too
such
uneven.
thing.
There's the other news I wanted to hit on is, are you guys going to go see The Iron Claw?
Yeah.
The movie about the Von Erichs?
If we can find it.
Yeah. If it comes around here.
Guaranteed that movie doesn't come to our town. It's like a little art house movie.
Let's go, Iola.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're hoping for the same size town with a slightly bigger theater near us to carry this movie.
6 possibilities, 20 minutes away.
Oh, man. If you don't know, The Iron Claw is a movie with Zac Efron, the dude from The Chef Show.
Oh, that's how I refer
thought
to him.
we were going to say High School Musical 1 through 3.
No,
maybe
the
No,
other
the
guy.
other guy.
Oh.
I moved on to we all know who Zac Efron is.
Well, he had a cooking show, like a food show on Netflix, where
See, Cody's got a deeper cut for Zac Efron.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, no, I was moving
The
on
bear.
to the bear guy.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
And it's a movie about a famous wrestling family called the Von Erichs.
Word.
Yeah. And I don't know, the bear guy cuts it, man. He's supposed to be Kerry Von Erich.
That's not the one you want to.
Yeah, Kerry Von Erich was a brick house, man. That dude doesn't. Anyways,
Well,
I'll give it a
Holt's
shot.
good Fritz, though. Holt McNally or McCannally or however you say his last name.
That's some old
Yeah.
school wrestling right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like if you're familiar with the Von Erichs, that's some
And the Freebirds.
the Freebirds. Yes.
If you watched AEW a few weeks ago or last week, you got to see a Von Erich or 2 or 3.
Wow, really? I didn't know there was still any left.
It was A. Von Erich and Offspring.
Well, I think they're still Von Erichs.
All right. Is there anything else you guys want to say in this spot before we move on?
DCEU's about to end.
The DCU?
DCEU,
Yeah, nobody cares.
rest in peace. Gone.
Does anybody really want to see that Aquaman movie?
I do. Because
Anyone besides Cody? Anyone at all?
No, like the first Aquaman might not have had a good story, but visually it was stunning. Like eat dirt James Cameron in Avatar.
Oh, wow.
Like it looked more appealing than Avatar.
Wow. Okay. Marty Scorsese calls it cinema.
He would. Compared to that dumpster fire of Avatar 2, I'm still not over it.
I'm glad you're not over it. There's nothing that makes me happier than Cody hating Avatar.
Yes, but no, I want to see like how it ends, and then I can say, I watched every project of the DCEU. I lived it. I survived it. And
you know what Aquaman 2 should be? They should not just not tell anyone, not release it to the critics, and then just put it in the theater, and you sit down in the theater and they run the opening credits. Aquaman title screen, logo comes on the screen, and then it's just that dude and he goes, "Just kidding. We wouldn't make this movie. We'll see you later." And then credits. In credits. That's it.
Thank you for your $10.
Losers. Okay. Yeah. This is a Be Kind Rewind, and we're going to take a break and be right back with Muppet Christmas Carol right after this. Okay, we're back. We're ready for a Be Kind Rewind. This one, the Muppet Christmas Carol. Muppet Christmas Carol, you guys. What is your experience with the Muppet Christmas Carol, Cody?
So I grew up like all things Muppets, including like the baby Muppets.
Muppet Babies.
Yes.
Dude, Muppet Babies rocked. Rocked so hard my Saturday mornings, dude.
Shout out to Nanny.
Yeah. So good. So good.
But no, like the Muppet Christmas Carol is something I probably watched all the way through 2 or 3 times as a kid. Like it wasn't something that was in the Christmas rotation.
Yeah.
But
Privilege.
I also will say that it was usually on during Christmas, and I'd watch a little bit and then I'd go do something else. As an adult, I appreciate the Muppets even more. And I'm also a Sir Michael Caine fan. And so,
Who isn't?
like, sign me up for the Muppet Christmas Carol as an adult.
Yeah. Jackson. Yeah, I could tell that you're a little disappointed with Cody's fandom.
Yeah, he's sitting at about a 3 and need him up in the 7 range at least. No, similar to Cody, I was a big fan of pretty much everything Muppet, Muppet Babies, all the Muppet movies. Don't ask me to name them all because some of them run together in my old age. But, Treasure Island, that was some Tim Curry. That was solid. Christmas Carol that's the high bar. That's the elite. And
Really?
You've got everything else.
Is this the best Muppet movie for you?
Oh, absolutely. Not even close.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't come in prepared to answer that question. That's just off the cuff, but
to be fair, to stop tweets, I haven't seen the Jason Segel on Up ones.
Oh, that's great.
That's my blind
The Jason
spot.
Segel, the first one especially, is really, really good.
So it's the Muppet movie and Most Wanted, I think. Or is there an extra
I don't
one out
remember the second one.
At Most Wanted is missable. You can miss that one, but that first one, yeah.
I did watch the TV series before they canceled it because it was, I think, too adult for the Muppets.
That's interesting.
Kermit was dating a human and that the world wasn't ready for it.
I'm not ready for that information.
I'm a little disturbed. I didn't watch that.
It's a
I
good
didn't know
watch
that.
if you can find it.
Yeah, this comes out in 1992. I'm a sophomore in high school, so it sort of misses me. I don't really have, because of that, I don't really have nostalgic memories of this. Wasn't something I watched. I prefer my Christmas Carol in black and white with Alastair Sim. I just like the creepiness of the black and white. There's like it carries with it like that kind of classic feel.
So we have a friend that he messaged and said that one, and I'm like, how dare you?
If it ain't Muppets or Mickey's,
Mickey.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Well, I know Jackson's stance for sure would be that, he needs Muppets or Mickey.
Well, yeah, you get Goofy and
Well, we're right. And to be clear,
Scrooge McDuck.
this is not an unpleasant experience. I just come to it later because I'm just not as a high schooler. I'm not into the Muppets at that point in my life, and it'd been a while since I was into them when Muppet Movie comes out, the original, and I loved Muppet Movie. And then there was the Great Muppet Caper,
Yeah.
Take Manhattan.
Muppets Take Manhattan, right? I mean, I was into all those, but not as much as the original Muppet Movie.
All during this watch, though, I will say, I'm listening to Miss Piggy, and I'm like, Yoda?
It's not the same voice. It's
Frank Oz?
Is Frank Oz Miss Piggy? Mm-hmm. No way.
Yes.
Wow.
That's why I said Yoda.
Okay. So yeah, just I enjoyed watching it again, but I probably watched it full on through, from start to finish, maybe 4 or 5 times in my life. That's it. Not a lot. I take it I already know the answer to this, but do you think this is the best version of A Christmas Carol ever?
I go Mickey's Christmas Carol #1, and then
Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Yep. And
Are you
then-
serious?
And then this one. Yep.
Okay.
Flip my list.
I mean, you're not even
Muppets
going to go
and
with
then
Jean-Luc
Mickey.
Picard Christmas Carol?
Nope.
Yeah, Jim Carrey animated?
Nope. That one's weird.
Yeah, it is very weird. Not a fan. Not a fan of that one. Okay. All right. That's cool. Came out in 1992. Gets a 77% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's quality.
Here's what some critics had to say about it. Peter Rainier of the Los Angeles Times. The Muppets are at their best when they're anarchic, without all this soggy whimsy.
Whoa. That's sassy, Pete.
Yeah. As you might have guessed, our friend Roger Ebert, rest in peace, loved it. He said, like all the Muppet movies, this one is a musical with original songs by Paul Williams. My favorite is the early chain-rattling duet by the Marley Brothers. Could have done with a few more songs than it has.
You
I'd
know,
say that's fair.
as an adult watching it this go round, I agree with him.
Oh, really? Okay. This is the one I agreed with the most, probably. It's from a guy named Desson Thompson in the Washington Post. And back in the day, he said, the Muppet Christmas Carol isn't terrible by any means, but it's resoundingly moderate, with merely passable songs by Paul Williams and only occasional real laughter. So he was somewhere in the middle.
How dare you with the Paul Williams slander?
Yeah.
That will not be tolerated, sir.
I do respect that old movies had people with actual names as the critics. It's not Jimmy from AintItCoolNews.com.
Right. Yeah. These were real critics that used to do it.
Billy Watches Movies says.
Yeah, I read one recently that was like that of it was a Christian movie, the new one with the weird space movie that's based on the Book of Job,
Oh,
The Shift. And I was reading the reviews for it, and there was one of those like, Donald Nelson of DonaldNelsonWatchesMovies.com. I hate it. Too much proselytizing and trying. Well, dude, it's a Christian movie. Like,
/ I didn't know this was a thing, and do I need to watch it?
what, The Shift?
Yes.
You didn't know that was out?
I know.
I don't know. I was trying to figure out if anyone I knew had seen it to tell me if it was good, but that's neither here nor there because we're not here to talk about that.
No.
But if any listeners have watched it, let us know. Is The Shift any good? I told my wife the premise, and she's like, I said, it's basically a sci-fi movie based on the Book of Job. And she said, oh, so depressing.
You betcha.
I was like,
Everyone dies.
okay, yeah, maybe. I mean, it's not, Ecclesiastes. Could have been worse.
Could always be worse.
But yeah, we're talking about Muppet Christmas Carol. And the critics were lukewarm to it, I'd say, 70%. Enough to like it, but most of the ratings were like, 3.5 out of 5. That's kind of where the average was. This was the first Muppet movie made without Jim Henson. It was originally intended to be a TV special. Did you know that? and they decided to go the full movie with it after testing it out a couple times. I guess they
Best
kind of
decision.
they started it, and they do a lot of different things with this than they had normally done with Muppet movies, and we'll get into that, I'm sure. So let's just get into it. Jackson, what holds up?
The whole thing.
I was going to say, well, you start at the beginning and then you get to the end and it all holds up in the between.
Okay, but the idea of the Be Kind Rewind is we narrow that down a little bit.
Of course. The thing I noticed when I watched it last night was really the visuals, like for the Marley Brothers, and they're coming in and out, and it's a projection of some sort, I'm sure, but like you can't see the wires. It doesn't age the movie like I thought it would. Because as a kid, everything is marvelous, and but as an adult, you kind of get that more trained eye, and everything still held up for me as far as that one goes, especially. The practical effects, like the costumes and everything like that. I mean, it's a movie that stands up to time.
Yeah, for a movie made in 1992 with puppets. Yeah, all the puppet work is amazing.
I'm
That's
still
incredible.
trying to figure out how Rizzo works.
That one's valid.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with that. It definitely is some fantastic works. Although it ought to be. It's the Muppets, man. This isn't some cheap knockoff. This is the Muppets, and
It's Jim Henson Studios,
not
even
the
without Jim
Fraggles.
Henson.
yeah. Well, Fraggle was Jim Henson Studios, and Fraggle Rock was great. There will be no Fraggle Rock slander on this podcast,
Not yet.
and the music for Fraggle Rock was even great.
So for me, something that stood up, and I had read something online like a couple weeks ago about Sir Michael Caine, in that he chose to play this serious and not like whimsical, like a lot of the other Muppet movies and the other Muppet characters. So he's serious. All around him is kind of this slightly more whimsical group. And
Can I read you a quote that's
Please do.
directly referencing that? Brian Henson, son of John, said this. He said, quote, "It was such a big role that it had to be an actor with huge star quality and celebrity, one that was authentically British and could handle the dramatic role. And the very first time I talked to Michael Caine,
Sir.
he said he was going to play it utterly straight, as if it was for the Royal Shakespeare Company. We shot it as a drama, and that was the first time we'd done that with Muppets. It was a lot of experimenting to see if this would work."
I think it holds up the way he plays.
Oh, absolutely. Michael Caine is great in this.
And like it definitely does change the tone of the Muppets, because it's a lot less whimsical than any other Muppet movie, for sure. But like there still is those Muppet qualities and some of the side things that are happening.
Yeah, there's three basic phases of a Christmas Carol story, right? You've got the first phase, which is just kind of your introduction to who Scrooge and the people around him. Then you got the second phase, which is him with the spirits, the night. And then the third phase, which is, the change. And it takes until that second phase, I think, because Michael Caine in the first phase, he's Scrooge, and that's probably the easiest part. But the nuance he plays Scrooge with
The spirits.
Muppets playing spirits, it's brilliant. Like, I don't know, as a unabashed fan of the Alastair Sim 1950s Christmas Carol black and white, I have to say that Michael Caine is the ultimate Scrooge. He's amazing, and he did it with Muppets.
His interaction with the Ghost of Christmas Present, phenomenal. Chef's kiss.
Jackson, say it.
Come in and know me better, man.
I don't even know what that means, and I was saying it over and over again while watching it. It's like, know me better, man. I don't even, it's great. I love that. And Michael Caine is just wonderful in it.
Well, I feel like you don't even recognize it's a Muppet movie based on him. You know, it's he draws you in, and you're like, oh wait, there's Gonzo. You know, you don't make
Charles
that connection.
Dickens to you.
You know, you're not focusing on the talking cow because you're just Michael holds you kind of in the palm of his hand the entire movie.
Yeah, he's amazing in it, and yeah, I'm even watching it today before we recorded. I was just mesmerized, especially his performance with the spirits, which are just kind of outlandish Muppets in a lot of ways, and how straight he plays it. Like he's going for it. And it's amazing to see someone do that. The best actors are the ones who can just like fully commit themselves like that. And it's amazing to watch. Masterclass.
It is.
What else holds up, Cody?
I'll say the jokes. There is a lot of just like kind of like random kind of side humor comments. And one of them, what's the, oh my goodness, I'm blanking on, what's the eagle's name?
Sam the Bald Eagle.
Thank you. Sam the Bald Eagle talks about like being American and
The
then
American way.
That's hilarious, by the way.
it's the British way. And I'm like, that's humor. Grade A humor at its best.
It's not just humor, but it's great satire.
Yes.
Because like he makes this look, it's the British way. And then he's got like this look that like, no, he means the American.
He does.
And he's definitely, the Muppets are definitely saying we suck. And they're right. They're absolutely right.
And there's just a few other like little side comments that if you're paying attention, it's brilliant. And so I don't get the person that said that, oh, the humor wasn't there. Like it was. You just don't have a funny bone.
And Gonzo and Rizzo are great.
Oh, yes.
Through the whole movie. The whole movie, they're wonderful. I want you to go through all yours, but before I start listing off mine. So if you have more, go ahead and say it.
I will save mine for other spaces.
Okay. I love that so I read some interviews today before I watched it because I wanted to get kind of a feel of the backbone. Because, I've never watched this movie that way. I've never watched the movie with the eye of like, hey, let's get behind the scenes here and see what the filmmakers were thinking. And so like he said it in that quote where he's talking about Michael Caine is like, we shot this as a drama at first just to see what would happen. And so one of the choices they make in this, and I love this as a fan of the book that Charles Dickens wrote, is 95% of Gonzo's lines are straight from the book. They're using the source material, which, God bless them. I love that they can do that because A Christmas Carol is a heavy book.
Very.
It's a very heavy book. I mean, it's Dickens, and yet the Muppets can use the source material, stay true to it, convey the same message that the book does, and yet it's fun. And I really appreciated that. I love that it starts how the book starts. Marley was dead to begin with, which is important because it retains this deep thing that Dickens wanted to say through the story, which is that you can be alive and be very much dead. And so them starting with that, of course, Gonzo's version's a bit different because they invented a Marley Brothers so they could use the two old guys, which
Statler and Waldorf,
which for this movie works perfectly.
You mean Robert and Jacob.
Bob Marley. Yeah, I thought that was
humor. Funny. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
But Gonzo, as Charles Dickens / the narrator, using actual narration from Dickens's novel is wonderful. We talked about Michael Caine as Scrooge. He's acting like Scrooge. He's acting him like he's performing it in the theater, not with a bunch of puppets, and it's glorious the whole time. Did you know they considered Tim Curry for this? They decided Tim Curry was too Muppety. Like,
yeah,
he would be the guy you want when you want the guy to act like he's in a Muppet movie.
Long John Silver.
Yeah, and they use him later on with the Treasure Island Muppet movie. Another one in this one, wow. I mean, it was a head scratcher, but also I was very intrigued. George Carlin. They were seriously considering George Carlin for the role of Scrooge, which would have been a completely different movie.
Oh, yeah.
But also, I want to see that movie. He's right coming off his Bill and Ted fame.
Oh, yeah.
Can you hit those dramatic notes? That's the worry.
Well, I don't think it's the same movie if you get him.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's more, if you're going George Carlin, I almost think it's got to be more sarcastic.
Yes.
Has more bite to it.
I'll go on that journey if it's a different movie, but if we're doing a cut and paste, absolutely not.
No, but that's the great thing about Michael Caine and the people who made this movie is once they got Michael Caine and Michael Caine said, this is the way I'm going to play it, they just went that direction. They sold out for it. And it works. It's great. Fozziwig is just chef's kiss. Like the perfect character to be the character that almost sounds like his name anyways. And it's just wonderful. Never eat singing food. That's just a life lesson.
That is.
That's a line in the movie said a couple times. The lyrics of the songs, I'm going to say the lyrics are so poignant and so deep and so amazing. Bless Us All, sung by the Cratchits. I almost started crying, but I want to read you some of the lyrics. Life is full of sweet surprises. Every day's a gift. The sun comes up and I can feel it lift my spirit. Fills me up with laughter, fills me up with song. I look into the eyes of love and know that I belong. Let us run from anger and catch us when we fall. Teach us in our dreams and please, yes, please, bless us one and all. That's just beautiful. And several of the songs, that was just the one I picked to read. Several of the songs lyrically were just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff.
So apologies to you.
Not so fast.
Oh, don't you
because I have more to say about the music, but that's going to come in a different segment.
Someone's going to get a flip-flop thrown at them.
Is it possible to dive across this?
Just
Picking
calm
my
down.
vectors here.
Just calm down. I just told you the lyrics are beautiful.
Phenomenal is what you meant.
It is time for what doesn't hold up. I will let you two go first. Jackson, do you have anything that doesn't hold up for you?
I was going to bring it up because I didn't know if we were going to do that question. The Ghost of Christmas Past
Thank you.
does not hold up.
That
It's
is
a
creepy.
Terrifying child. I guess it's a child, but it's like a Muppet child.
Ghost child.
It's right here in my notes. The Ghost of Christmas Past is horrifying.
Oh, yeah.
Horrifying. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so there's a story here. You ready for this?
I am.
Apparently, their first idea was to have actual Muppets play the spirits.
Okay.
But they quickly realized that this took away and didn't jive with the seriousness and the performance that Michael Caine was giving. So Michael Caine's giving this performance, and think of the nuance and that he plays those sequences with. And it just they said it just didn't. It seemed a disservice to him to put the Ghost of Christmas Past was originally going to be which is the orange Muppet with the glasses.
From Electric Mayhem, the
He's
one
kind
with
of
the lipstick.
No, he's kind of nerd. Scooter. So
Yeah.
Scooter was originally the Ghost of Christmas Past. Miss Piggy was first the Ghost of Christmas Present.
Oh, that would have been bad.
And they just decided, oh, this doesn't work. And so they get shifted into, Miss Piggy gets shifted into another character. She didn't show up till an hour in the movie because she's Bob Cratchit's wife.
Yep.
And Scooter's completely removed. He's not in the movie at all.
Poor Scooter.
Yeah, Scooter gets robbed. And frankly, I'm also going to say what doesn't hold up is there's not nearly a big enough role for Rolf. He's the backbone of the Muppets, and I'll die on that hill. I needed more Rolf.
I'm a Beaker man myself, but
Yes.
Okay, honest question. Does Beaker give Scrooge the finger?
that's
going
how
no.
Beaker gets down.
I had to rewind it a couple times. It's actually his pointer finger, but I don't know what he's doing. What is he doing with the finger?
Yeah. He's telling you what's up.
So you think it's meant to be
I don't think that
biting humor?
I don't think that it's meant to be the finger. I think it's more like First off, let me tell you something, buddy.
You got to do it in Beaker.
I don't
Speak
do
Beaker,
I
Cody.
don't speak Beaker. I let that leave that for the professionals.
Will you speak Swedish Chef?
That was the character I wanted more of.
Gobble, gobble.
Like, there's no place for the Swedish Chef besides where they had him.
Oh yeah.
So-
he gets
But that's
plenty
a
of time.
chef's kiss because you get just enough.
I wanted more just because he makes me laugh, even though, like, he really says nothing.
No.
But
You don't believe schmurda, gobble, gobble.
I just like the way he moves, his mannerisms, his arms. It's hilarious. Yeah, what else doesn't hold up?
so yeah, for me it was really just the Ghost of Christmas Past. That was scary. It was horrendous, and I might have nightmares tonight.
If I'd have watched that if that would have came out when I was a kid, oh man, that's the scariest Ghost of Christmas Past ever.
And I don't know why he goes with him.
I think that was the first time I noticed it because I thought my brain had programmed it was just a girl, like
Yep.
a little kind of doll looking girl. And then I saw it last night and I'm like, has this always been this way?
Yes, they filmed it underwater. That's how they got that effect. Did you know that?
Oh,
No.
Yeah.
Teaching
Dave
me
bringing
things.
the
I told
deep
you,
dive
I did a lot of reading.
information.
I don't know if it has a spot later, so I'll say what doesn't hold up is the song that they eliminate from this movie, which is what I was referring to earlier. It's when Scrooge and Belle are having their discussion outside and, he keeps delaying the wedding.
The breakup.
Yeah.
It's the breakup.
So you're left to infer that that's what happened, and you see Rizzo crying afterward, but there's actually a song where she details, I can't be waiting for you, and it's called When Love Is Gone.
Yeah, it's a little abrupt how they have it
And
in
it
the scene.
will destroy you if you watch it. And it makes no sense at the end when he's singing and love is found because you didn't know love was gone. And I watched that version growing up. So when I saw these newer versions where they left that out, I was like, okay, well, I need to take this DVD back. Something's askew. And depending on whose side you take, either they lost something in the transfer, so they could, when they upgraded the visuals and everything, they couldn't put it in because the version they had would have been such a drop in quality. They said just get rid of it. And the other version is that it was too mature and too sad for children, and it was making children cry, so they took it out.
Man.
You weren't ready for that.
Yeah, that's wild.
You can
now
find it on Spotify.
I think I got to listen to this song now. But the scene is abrupt. It's weird.
Well, because like if you watch Mickey's Christmas Carol, they play out the romance lost in Ebenezer Scrooge's younger life. So like to not have it played out with Sir Michael Caine or whoever was the ghost or the Ebenezer at that time, like it's ridiculous. So if Mickey's Christmas Carol is doing a better job explaining that there was a romantic love interest earlier, then we have a little issue.
Well, I don't think they do a bad job of explaining that was the case. I think that she leaves at the end of the scene that makes it in the final cut is weird and feels abrupt. And it feels like, oh, there was a song there that got cut out. That was some, exposition.
Yes.
You get crying Michael Caine, too, and that's always a plus.
Well, I mean, yeah, we got to have more crying Michael Caine. I mean, that pretty much makes The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Or
Every
no,
time I do
not The Dark Knight, but
Rises.
Rise of
Anytime I do
Skywalker.
anything wrong, they get the I'm
Rise of
sorry,
Sky
I
Bruce.
failed you.
Rise of, what is it? Rise of the, what is that? What is the last Dark Knight trilogy movie?
Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises.
That's why I just said Rises.
The Rise of Batwalker. Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything else that doesn't hold up?
No, this is a quality flick.
Oh, okay. Okay, here, let's just get into this a little bit. The actual music. Now, as I said, the lyrics are amazing. The actual music, now, let me give you my background. I'm a huge fan of the soundtrack to the original Muppet movie. I think it's one of the best soundtracks of all time. Same dude wrote that music. Apparently, he was on a lot of drugs. So what I read about this is that the poignancy of the lyrics in this are all from a real place where he was experiencing redemption in his life. And it carries through in the movie. Like, it really carries through. But the music itself that goes along with it, these songs should be classics. This is a Muppet Christmas movie, and they just aren't. To me, the songs are super forgettable. The melodies are super forgettable. They just don't hold up. And in each time there was singing, it kind of, I had the lyrics, I had this captions on, so I was able to look at the lyrics, but if I didn't, I kind of would have been taken out of the movie.
Oof.
Yeah. And that's, super subjective. So take that for what it's worth.
I was going to say, the last couple of numbers really slap.
Like, look, I told you. And it's not just that it's Muppets. I think the Muppet movie soundtrack, like, listen, I can't hear Gonzo sing that song, the song he sings in Muppet movie, I can't even remember the name of it. But I know if I heard it, I'll cry. Well, okay, you going to make me look it up?
I am.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
Gonna say
I a man or am I a Muppet?
No.
I think I've got 4
I'm
or 5
going to go back there
on
someday.
Spotify, so
Yes.
I can't go there with you.
I'm going to go back there someday, and it's amazing. And I tear up and cry every time I hear Gonzo singing it because it's beautiful. That whole soundtrack, though, Rainbow Connection, which everyone knows, moving right along. Yeah, it's just good, and the whole soundtrack's good, and then the melody sticks in my mind. And maybe it's because it hits me in a different place in my childhood. Maybe that's the simple part of it. But this movie, the music, I don't know. Nothing's gonna stick with me from that.
How dare you, sir?
I know.
But you haven't heard "When Love Is Gone" yet.
I haven't, and I should look at that. I'll look it up on YouTube.
Spotify.
We talked about the Ghost of Christmas Past, just horrifying. And it's the only other thing I had listed here was I needed more Rolf. I needed more Rolf. I got the perfect amount of Animal.
Yeah.
I got the perfect amount of Fozzie in the perfect role. I needed more Rolf. I'm a big fan of Rolf. Okay. Deeper themes.
Well, I mean, it's Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
So there's that.
There is like a ton of religious imagery that's underlying all this story.
Yeah.
And Charles Dickens, a very religious guy when he was alive, purposely has this imagery. And so it shockingly transfers well into Muppets.
Yeah.
I was amazed.
I think there'd be a lot of movies that would. Like, seriously, we need to have an episode where we just come up with movies that would be great remade into Muppet movies, and then diagnosing which Muppets would play which character and which one character would be human and playing it like Michael Caine, like straight up. Like he was acting with real people. Like, we need to have an episode with that. But I need to put so much thought into it.
Oppenheimer.
Well, Oppenheimer would clearly be Kermit.
Yes.
Who's the human in Oppenheimer?
Do you just stick with
Is it
Robert
Einstein?
Downey Jr.
It's either Robert Downey Jr. or Einstein, one of those two.
It's the girl.
Florence Pugh.
It's Florence Pugh, and everyone else is a Muppet. That's going to get really weird, y'all. Oh man.
It's going to have to be on Pop Culture Pastor After Dark.
But yeah, they stay so true to the Christmas Carol. And like Cody was saying, everyone talks about C.S. Lewis, Narnia, and Tolkien and Lord of the Rings. No one hardly ever, you don't get mentioned the Christmas Carol and Dickens very much, but this is clearly an allegory. And it's a beautiful one. And it's so much more like where C.S. Lewis and Tolkien are telling allegories that have a lot more Jesus in it. Mm-hmm. It's a lot more, kind of king-centric. This one is just a lot more about, hey, there's a behavior and a way to go through life we're drawn to. and yet we often don't choose it. And so the theme of A Christmas Carol, and one that this movie doesn't lose and in fact does very well, is that a lack of gratitude in our life results in bitterness, which results in no empathy or grace for others. And the best part of this whole the Christmas Carol story is the redemption story. The spirits don't show Scrooge anything that isn't true of Scrooge's life. And I think I never got that when I was a kid. You know, you're watching Christmas Carol, and then later on I read A Christmas Carol, and it helped flesh that out a lot more for me. But it always seems so magical because it was a Christmas movie and it was magical. There were spirits in it.
Yep.
But then it dawned on me when I'm reading the book one day, and every time I've ever watched any version of this after, it's like, oh no, there's no magic here. They're showing him real life. The spirits show him what is. They're just reminding him to be grateful for that. And I think that's wonderful. One of the spirits says, these are the shadows of the things that have been. They are what they are. Right. And it's very blunt, and I'm assuming it's a line. I don't remember, but I'm assuming it's a line directly from the book. And Scrooge needs to be reminded to be grateful for what he had received. And the truth is that there's a version of all of us that could be Scrooge. Does that mean that everything that happened to us is good? No. It's just like our lives, but we have much to be thankful for. And it's such a better way to live. And I love it.
So a part that, like, at first I kind of chuckled at, and then, like, it made me really sad because Michael Caine was really sad, was when his nephew was playing the yes-no game, and they're like an unwanted creature. And they're talking about Ebenezer.
Yeah.
And, like, at first you kind of chuckle, and then it's like, oh, like,
the really good adaptions of A Christmas Carol always include that scene. I think one of the best ones is the Bill Murray Scrooged movie, where his nephew and their friends are all doing that, and they kind of start making fun of Bill Murray's Scrooge character, and or his name's not Scrooge in that movie; it's something else, but he is the Scrooge character.
Yes,
and, Bill Murray plays that real well. Like that's the true sign of whether you're going to be a good Scrooge or not, right? That scene, that's one of the big scenes for him. You get to play the nuance of, like, hey, I act like I don't care what people think of me, but I really do. And I get to show it here.
So I do want listeners to know there is a meaning behind his name besides Scrooge.
Oh.
Like Ebenezer.
Yeah.
That is actually a term.
Yes. Tell us what Ebenezer means.
Okay. So an Ebenezer is like a commemoration of something the Lord has done, but it literally translates from Hebrew as stone of help. Mm. And what does Ebenezer Scrooge become at the end of the movie? Someone that's helpful. Yeah. They're grateful. They're charitable. They're helping everyone and their mom, including Tiny Tim, who he did not want to see dead.
Yeah. Oh, I'm telling you what, this version of Christmas Carol, one of the scenes they absolutely nail. And I don't know if it's because it's Muppets. I don't know if it makes it more just gutting that it's Muppets playing the parts here. But when he sees, when he's with the ghost of the spirit of Christmas future, and he sees the Cratchits, and it starts out on the street, and he's like, wait a minute. Or he's all excited. He's like, oh, the Cratchits, there's going to be such joy. Thank you for bringing me here, spirit. And then he's like, wait, why is it so quiet? Mm. And from that moment on, there's like this lump in my throat and in my stomach. And then when you get in there and they're all sad, and Bob Cratchit says this, Kermit as Bob Cratchit. Mm-hmm. I think it's important to say, dude, Kermit deserves an Oscar for this.
Kermit, my favorite Muppet.
He deserved to be nominated for supporting actor at least. He delivers this line. It's all right, children. Life is made up of meetings and partings. That is the way of it. Oh, that's gutting. When I watched that today, that's just a gutting line. And that even in this melancholy, there's this reminder that to suffer the parting, one has to be fortunate enough for the meeting. Mm. And then again, you're drawn to gratitude, even in the sadness.
I thought you were going to go with the giant spider scene. So
it's just so good, man. So good. But that was. Do we have any other deeper themes? Anything that you guys want to mention?
Well, I had to make sure the giant spider got in there because that's a little bit jarring. I didn't remember that from last watch when he's getting all of Scrooge's belongings that they stole.
Where was this at?
The sheets that are still warm because these other Muppets went into his house and stole all his stuff and were selling it to the giant spider.
Now I watched this with my kids today, so
Did
maybe
you
I
watch
missed
it
it
on Disney Plus?
I did watch
That
it on Disney
part's
Plus.
not deleted.
Okay.
I want to say it's Ghost of Christmas Future,
Well, it
and
would
they're
have to be.
reacting to his death. And
There's a
like
spider?
Yeah, the dogs are talking about it was people he did business with, and
Yes.
that nobody went to his funeral. And then this giant spider is buying the belongings from his house. And
How did I not see that this was a spider?
Because you blocked it out.
I feel like we got the Mandela effect going on here. Are you gaslighting me?
I would never do such a thing, Dave.
I'm like, wait a minute. I don't remember this at all. What's happening?
Are you Googling giant spider?
Yes.
Okay.
Cody's Googling giant spider. Okay, this will give you a chance to think up who your winner of the movie is. It can't be the giant spider Muppet. Oh, yeah.
He was there.
That's a spider? I thought it was
think
like an
so.
Oscar the Grouch kind of guy.
There were arms.
Yeah, there's arms.
I didn't even notice the arms. I just thought he was like a cousin of Oscar the Grouch. He looks just like Oscar the Grouch.
Old Joe. That's his name.
All right. I just assumed he was of the garbage can variety.
Well, spiders sometimes are.
You know what really tripped me out? If you'd have planned this out ahead of time and went with the whole, well, Oscar is a spider. Start go full gaslighting, and I'll just
We're
be
going
like,
to
what?
ruin Sesame Street for you.
No!
While we're at it,
Cookie Monsters and Alien.
All right, Jackson, who's the winner of the movie?
I'm glad you picked me first so I can take Michael Caine from Cody.
how dare you?
I mean, he can still say Michael Caine.
You
I
don't
know,
me.
but he'll be copying me. I mean, Michael Caine's an obvious one, but I would just say the Muppets win in general because this is a movie that you can show people and, you know, that haven't seen it. They're going to say, oh, Muppets. Oh, gosh, what are you showing me? And it's such a grown-up movie. It's a movie that if you truly allow yourself, you forget that it's Muppets. There's not a lot of those, you know, I remember the review saying when they're getting into mischief and whatever, that's the best version of the Muppets. I would disagree because, you know, they do play it straight. You have Rizzo to give you a little bit of levity here and there and kind of be the
He's from Jersey.
audience, you
Well,
know,
he's a rat.
to break up the, you know, the heaviness. But otherwise, you know, I think it's the best movie that the Muppets have ever done where it's something you could show to anybody. And they may even say, like, I don't even like the Muppets. And it's like, I don't care. Watch this. And, you know, it's a solid movie. And it's in my Christmas rotation. I hold on to it to the very end because it's not a movie you watch after Thanksgiving or anything like that.
But just to be clear, you're saying Michael Caine is the winner, but you talked all about the Muppets.
He was just beating me to the punch. Is what
Well,
he's doing.
there was a little bit of that, but it was also, you know, Tim Curry in Treasure
Yeah.
Island. I don't feel the same way.
Well,
So-
right. I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying. I just wanted you. I was trying to work you into fleshing that out a little bit. But
Oh,
basically,
for sure.
Basically, what you're saying is this movie is only this movie because of Michael Caine.
Yeah, he runs the emotional gamut. You know, you fear him, you know, you hate him in the early stages. You allow him to soften, and then you're welcoming him in the third act.
Yeah.
So you go on that journey with him, and it takes somebody like Michael to get you there. Because if it's, you know, random leading man number 5, you don't go on that same journey. It falls flat. It's a Hallmark movie.
Right. Right.
Oof. No one likes that.
Cody, who's the winner of the movie?
Okay, I'm not going to go Sir Michael Caine since you took him. I'm a man of principle. It will be Bob Cratchit, a.k.a. Kermie.
Best Kermit performance ever? Kermit, like sometimes Kermit's kind of annoying.
it is the right amount of Kermit.
Yeah.
And I think if you're going to have a good Christmas Carol movie, you have to have a good Bob Cratchit.
Yeah.
Because Bob has to have some levity when we're introduced to Scrooge. He also has to have some when you're meeting the whole Cratchit family. And after Tiny Tim dies in the Ghost of Christmas Future scenario, you need someone there to carry that weight. And Kermit does a good job.
Yeah.
My hero.
The roles in this were so perfect for each Muppet.
Except
for Rolf.
I will say that it kind of copies Mickey's Christmas, because Mickey is Bob Cratchit.
All right, let's just
And Kermit is the head of the Muppets.
Oh, Mickey's Christmas Carol comes out in 1983.
Yep.
Really?
It's classic.
So are you comparing Goofy and Statler and Waldorf?
Yes.
You're not going to win that comparison.
For what it's worth, Mickey's Christmas Carol is 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. So Cody's right according to the critics.
Right.
Yeah, he's right according to the critics. My winner of the movie is just the Muppets as a franchise, and I'll frame it like this: I don't think they've learned the lesson from this movie. And that is like after this movie, they go to Treasure Island and they mix space. They mix humans with them, and then the Jason Segel version, which is fantastic.
The first one.
I'm going to have to give it a watch. You've convinced me.
Oh, the music's in it. The music's great. The tone of it just feels great.
Still sing one song from the movie, so
yeah, there's a lot of lines in the movie that still get said around my house because my kids really enjoyed it. But what they captured in this movie, they haven't really tried again. And it's just sitting there waiting for them. And it's basically a foolproof way that the Muppets should never go stale. Because you can copy the formula of this movie. You get one actor, one serious actor, and just like we were talking about, you remake any kind of movie you want. It could literally be any genre.
So while we were talking about this early on, my mind's like, if they did a remake of this movie, you get someone from the Royal Shakespeare Theatre who also has played Scrooge before. His name's David Tennant.
He's not old enough.
He's getting there.
What about Sir Anthony Hopkins?
He's too old.
Too old.
He's knocking on heaven's door.
He would have to float around with the angel the entire time.
But hear me out. If Marty Scorsese makes the movie, then we could just get Bob De Niro as Scrooge with Muppets and a lot more blood.
A lot more Robert De Niro kicks.
Leonardo makes a cameo
appearance
at some point, and that would be terrible. There was a lot of chatter here, like a year back or so, about doing a Knives Out Muppet movie.
And I'm here for that.
Where Daniel Craig would play his role of Benoit Blanc, and then everyone else would be a Muppet in like a Knives Out movie, which that's an amazing idea. That would just be so. But I think, what this movie gives you the roadmap for is you could do that, and the Muppets are literally relevant forever. Mm-hmm. Because you could make this style of movie. And it's fun to talk about. Like, that's what I'm saying. We should do an episode where we just come up with a bunch of ideas for this style of movie in different genres and what each Muppet character would play and who would be the human character.
I've already called Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer would be amazing, especially with Florence Pugh and Muppets. Of course, it would have to have a different tone.
It would.
I mean, in that department, you still do the whole, the bringer of doom.
Yes.
Kermit. Oh, it'd be amazing. So that's the winner of the movie for me. Just the Muppet genre, the Muppets as a property. And they really haven't gone back to this well. And they could.
Yeah.
And it would be amazing.
Because the Jason movie has way too many people. But, like, it's fun because you're like, oh, that's Dave Grohl. Oh, that's someone else. Oh, that, like.
The Jason movie?
Jason
Segel.
Yes.
Oh, right. Yeah.
See, I was worried about that because I was like, is it Muppet Takes Manhattan or is that Jason Takes Manhattan? So I made that same error.
So, Jason movie.
Yeah, and so it's different in that the humans you feel like they're interacting with Muppets.
Yes.
They're not playing it straight.
No.
No, not at all. And so, I mean, I like the wink, the nod at like, oh, we're humans and we're someone famous. You should kind of know us. But I do want a Muppet movie that's like this.
Lethal Weapon. Hear me out. Lethal Weapon, where Danny Glover plays his character and everyone else is a Muppet. Rolf.
Say if you
No. Wait, I take it back. Mel Gibson comes back to play his character, and Rolf is Danny Glover's character, and he's too old for this stuff. Oh yeah, that would be amazing. And Fozzie plays, the bad guy from the first one, the crazy dude.
Swedish Chef is Gary Busey.
You're right. That's better. Swedish Chef. That's Gary Busey. Would be amazing. All right, Jackson. Who's the loser of the movie? Can you think of a loser of the movie?
Loser of the movie is people who've had to watch it without Love Is Gone in the movie.
All right, it's a fair
valid.
answer. I gotta hear this song. It might change my whole opinion on the music.
Ghost Child.
The Ghost Child. So yeah, I don't know that the spirit of Christmas Past works. It's a little creepy. It's a little creepy. I gotta say, even as an adult watching it, I was like, wow, this is creep-tastic.
Like, they could have edited out that ghost entirely and left the song.
But the Ghost of Christmas Present is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And the way how every time he goes through to the next scene, he gets a little bit older. I never noticed that before until I watched it today.
Disintegrates.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was like, this is really deep.
And, like, they have a very moving scene right as he's about to disintegrate. It's great.
Well, that's why I was so surprised. They're like, okay, that song is too sad and mature for kids, but I'm, getting connected to this big jolly giant.
Yeah.
And then poof, he's gone.
Come get to know me, man. Wow. All right. Cody, who's the loser of the movie?
I already said it was the Ghost Child.
Oh, yeah, that's right. My bad.
And it still is.
I had a brain hiccup.
It was too scary and traumatic for me.
I'm going to say the loser of the movie is Rolf. I just can't get over it. I just don't. Like, Rolf is a main part of the Muppet Babies.
Well, isn't technically Scooter the loser because his part was axed entirely?
Scooter is axed completely from the movie, which, Scooter was a main part of the Muppet Babies, too. He was a main character in Muppet Babies. He's sort of the co-leader. He's sort of like Kermit's Bucky. If Kermit's Captain America, then Scooter is sort of like his Bucky in Muppet Babies.
So who's Iron Man that Scooter took his parents
that's
out?
Clearly Gonzo.
That's why they're at nannies.
And Gonzo goes ballistic.
Gonzo nearly won the movie for me.
But one of those is loose. Because even Miss Piggy, gets her role cut complete, way down. Mm-hmm. But she's fantastic. She's perfect as Mrs. Cratchit because she goes ballistic. Like, Miss Piggy's usually annoying.
I'm a little piggy goes a long way. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Miss Piggy's usually annoying in her, rambunctious, over-the-top behavior. But in this movie, I'm like, that's the woman every dude wants. She's fighting for her man. Even so much so that when Scrooge comes and he's kind of playing the part at the end, it's like, he's pretending he's still mad and mean. And she's, giving him the business.
I come to give you a raise. I'll raise you to the pavement.
That's the girl every guy wants right there. The one that's fighting for you.
She apologized.
Yeah. She's like, pardon? They both say pardon? Yeah. So I'm going to say, that's either Rolf or Scooter. One of the Muppets that gets shortchanged.
I ask again, is Rizzo an animatronic? I want somebody to tell me because when he falls in the
water
bucket and his little feet are going, I'm like, that's maybe an animatronic, but everybody else, you can kind of tell where the wires are. But
yeah. So I read somewhere today that Michael Caine actually had to walk on planks because there were canyons and holes where the puppeteers would be, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he had to be real careful with where he walked, otherwise he'd fall.
Oh. Britain's national treasure could have been injured on this movie.
And
Sir
now
Anthony
he's
Hopkins?
retired.
How?
How dare you?
All right, final question. What in this movie is the definitive version of A Christmas Carol? So, like, if we've already talked about Michael Caine and we say Michael Caine may be the definitive version of Scrooge in this movie, which I wouldn't disagree with. What else? Is there anything that this is the definitive version of A Christmas Carol?
I mean, I honestly think Ghost, A Christmas Present, to
Yes.
Future, like both. Ghost, A Christmas Present for sure by himself, but like when they show Tiny Tim, any scenes with Tiny Tim, honestly, Tiny Tim Muppet carries the weight of any child.
I'm going to say I'm partial to Pete the Cat as Ghost of Christmas Future, so I can't go there with you. But
Yes.
definitely Ghost of Christmas Present.
I was going to say Tracy Morgan from Spirited.
How dare you?
How dare you, Cody Avalon? That's my best Tracy Morgan. That's all I got.
It's like he's in the room with us.
I know, right?
I don't know if the slush fund could afford him, but
No, we can't afford Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan, if you're listening, would you come on the show for free? Well, never mind. We don't need you. We got me. We got you, Jackson Chauncey.
we'll let you say whatever you need to about Walmart.
Anything else definitive? Definitely the Ghost of Christmas Present. Kermit, maybe the definitive Bob Cratchit.
Yep.
And how does that happen? I mean, a Muppet, like, honestly. But
Well, it was between him and Mickey, so
all right. How many? Let's see.
top hats.
Top hats? How many top hats out of 10? Jackson
11.
Chauncey. 11. Okay. He's given extra credit.
Well, I was going to go like 8.5.
8.5.
It's a solid Christmas Carol.
I'm going 6.5 overall. It's enjoyable for me, but it's not Jackson's cracking knuckles. I'm intimidated.
You should be.
Like, it's okay. It's just not. I recognize there's a lot of great things about it.
There's so much nuance to it.
But as a movie for me, it's not something I think about rewatching every Christmas. It's just not it doesn't hit me like that.
Well, there's like only 2 movies that really do hit me like that. Well, 3.
Christmas?
Yes.
Only?
Home Alone 2,
And Home Alone 3.
Vacation. You get Home Alone 3 out of here.
I don't know why we're putting this right at the end when I'm just sitting over here hurt that Dave's not going to rewatch it. It's not on your list.
I mean, I'm sure I'll watch it again at some point in my
Could
life.
we not have led off with this so I could be
I've heard
controlling my emotions?
None of the Christmas Carol movies make my list because it's a far better story.
See,
book
I would go the exact
than-
opposite, that you can put that and just
Okay.
work around it.
Okay, so you just gave us ours. Jackson, tell me your Christmas rewatchable list.
Okay, I got,
The stuff you have to watch every Christmas season, no matter what.
well, really that's 3, but it's Christmas Vacation, Muppets, and Mickey's. I can't have a Christmas season without those 3 movies.
You are a man child.
Absolutely, and I own it.
No, that's cool. I love that you like the things that clearly made an impact on young Jackson.
Oh,
I guess I should
absolutely.
say Rudolph also makes the cut.
Rudolph,
Although,
are you rewatching that?
oh, yeah. Every year.
I'll listen to the songs. I don't need to watch it.
Literally, when Yukon Cornelius says, Bumbles bounce, I chuckle every time.
For me, the stuff I have to watch every year is White Christmas. That's not my nostalgic one.
You're so sentimental.
Christmas Vacation, Elf, and this one's going to come out of left field. It's one that's recently joined that bevy of movies, but Four Christmases is delightful.
I'll go there with you.
I just kind of like
That's
Vince. I just
solid
dig
B
Vince
tier
Vaughn.
for me.
And I laugh. I have more belly laughs watching that movie than any other movie. Plus, who doesn't have interesting family?
So you made a post about Elf today,
I did.
or a comment that kind of went viral on
Oh yeah, I
Was it
commented on
Variety?
Screen Rant.
Screen Rant.
Yeah, Screen Rant. I don't even know why they exist, other than they seem to hate movies.
So
Get you to
someone
talk about 'em.
commented on yours about. No, I totally agree with their
They didn't like Will Ferrell.
perspective. They're like, Will Ferrell's not funny in this. This
Yeah.
is a 0 out of 10. And I'm like, thank you.
Okay,
Although I don't hate Elf. I will watch it and I will chuckle at some, but I don't go all in
Elf
on
is
Elf.
overrated.
So
Yes.
a little background context. Screen Rant did what Screen Rant does and wrote this ridiculous article about why Elf is not a good movie and doesn't hold up. And it's all this stuff because it doesn't fit into their whatever their ideology is, whoever wrote the article.
Oh.
So it's all like ideological based and politically based and everything. They're worldview based, basically. And I'm just like, if you can't turn off your brain for a movie about a dude who grows up as an elf, like what? Like... But like the guy who just doesn't enjoy Will Ferrell, I actually responded to him and I said, "Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it should be subjective, but at least don't like it because it's not your cup of because it's not your cup of tea. Don't not like it because you want your entertainment to fit your worldview. No, you'll never watch anything funny.
Indeed. So, like, I know it's sacrilegious for millennials to say Elf's overrated, but for me, it's like, I can take it or leave it. I don't really care to watch it.
Is Will
I'm all right
Ferrell
with that.
Miss Piggy?
Yes.
Yep.
Is Will Ferrell Miss Piggy?
A little Miss Piggy goes a long way.
Oh,
A
I'm
little
Getting
Will
a
that
Ferrell.
little
way
over the
as I
top.
get older that a little Will Ferrell is
Perfect.
I didn't know we were going to go this direction this year. Getting a little bonus time here on
Yeah.
the pod. I will say, I think Elf may have been the last thing that I really enjoyed Will Ferrell in. What comes out of, I mean, does all his movies come out after that? He has a run. I enjoyed him in Ricky Bob, Talladega Nights. I enjoyed Step Brothers.
I mean, Anchorman's peak Will Ferrell for me.
But and Anchorman 2's not good.
Anchorman 2.
I don't care what anyone says. It's not good.
Like, you get the laughs, but it's...
you get Chicken of the Caves with bats. That's all I remember
Yeah.
from Anchorman 2.
Honestly, him in the Barbie movie might have just been the right amount of Will Ferrell, but they were approaching too much.
Yeah, to me, the problem with him, okay, so we may have talked about this on our Barbenheimer episode, but Will Ferrell, I don't think needed to be in that movie. It was a Muppet Christmas Carol situation. You needed everything about that world to be played straight up. Mm-hmm. And instead it's campy and weird. And like, let Barbie be campy and weird. But she's in the real world. If that's the case and she's in the real world, then why is Will Ferrell there? It just didn't make any sense to me.
That's valid.
In a, what was otherwise a pretty good movie.
I will say, though, like, less Will Ferrell, the more quality the Will Ferrell.
Yeah, I don't hate it. All right, we're
Will
done.
Ferrell's Miss Piggy. You heard it here first.
You did.
All right, everybody, tell us what you think of the Muppet Christmas Carol. Where does it hit you in your Christmas feels? Is it on your rewatchable every Christmas season list? Let us know on the social media post for this episode. As always, hey, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, especially if you're listening to this on YouTube. We're on YouTube now. I don't know if you guys know that.
When's the Patreon? When can they donate?
I don't know, but we got to set that up. But let's focus on YouTube for now. Subscribe to the YouTube, and when you listen to a video of ours on YouTube, give the video a like. It helps with the algorithm. We're doing quite well already. The Home Alone episode's already been viewed like almost 100 times. Which
What?
Yeah, on YouTube, and we just put it on there, so I'm kind of excited about that. It's just another way for you to get our pods.
Home Alone's still a classic.
It is still a classic. I agree. Jackson, thanks for coming on as always. For Cody Haviland, pastor of pop culture and of,
People.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Pop culture pastor.